Hey guys, welcome back. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, helping you to get to six figures and beyond and to become a rock star of your own enterprise. Thank you very much for joining me. As you guys are filing in the chat, let me know where you checking in from and what time is it. So today, one of the stories we're going to be covering is an interesting topic. Whenever you go into a restaurant, whenever you go into a gym, dentist office, anywhere, right? They always have music playing, they might have a Netflix show on, and in order to display other people's stuff, to play their music, even if it's like a live performance or a Netflix show, you need to get certain licenses as a business. And a lot of newer businesses don't know about this. They find out the hard way. And we have such a scenario that we're going to be talking about where essentially, if you have someone sing happy birthday in your business, you're going to get sued for like $30,000. So, we're going to talk about why that is, why it's happening, and how you can avoid it. All right. I think it wasn't connected on some of the platforms, so I'll just say it again. As you're filing in, let us know where you're checking in from and what time is it. How is everyone doing? So, all things good. Today I was having a little bit of technical difficulties and I slightly wanted to pull out my hair. But you know what? We persevere. And that's what you do as a professional. You do the thing over and over and over and you spend hours on it. And then you have nothing to show. And so what you're going to do is you'll come back to the drawing board. You'll get it done. And it'll all be fine, right? All right, and then for those of you who are watching on other platforms, as always, our hub here is on Top Music Attorney YouTube. This is the place that we're pumping out videos like multiple times a week to help you with your music business, your career, and just getting kind of knowledgeable on law and entertainment and music and all the things that are happening. Okay, so I'm here, you're here, we're going to be together. I'm going to run this intro, and then we'll go over what I'm going to be teaching you in more of our hard learning section. I'm excited for you guys, so let's watch this and we'll be right back. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected. I love this. So Paul on Facebook talking about the Vaughn and Dirk YouTube reactions. You know what? I appreciate that. I haven't done too many music video reactions recently, and I know you guys are really liking those, and it's just more so, we went live, and so the way we make the main content on the channels that we do the live show, and when I react to copyrighted stuff on the live, we get like shut down midway through. So that's why we tried it once and it just went terribly, and so I don't know. I appreciate you saying that because I just love doing the reaction videos and I haven't in a while. So I don't know. You're kind of inspiring me. Maybe I need to take some time to just do those and record them over a weekend or something. So anyway, hi. Yes, hi. Hello. I get it. John's here. Fantastic. Don't forget to smash that like button. Indeed. Hello. Thank you for being here. Where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? Minnesota, after eating dinner, the perfect time. You could go on a walk and be getting your music business knowledge. El Paso, Texas, 6 p.m. Ay. All right, so the things we're going to be talking about today kind of have to do with what I was doing last night, which is number one, I was at a concert, and I have a fun story to share about that. So I went to see Janet, all right, Janet Jackson, if you're nasty. And she is just such a fantastic performer, right? As a dancer, as a performer, as a singer. Very strong, very consistent, just fabulous. So she just slayed all over the place. And great show. And, I made a point to, basically like when the last song was kind of wrapping up, I always try to get a jump on the crowd. And so, I'm like running over. I think I'm kicking the camera. Sorry. I did something. My apologies. I'll stop kicking the camera while I'm telling stories. But in any case, uh, so we're there watching the show, and we're like run into the car because there's just so many people at this thing. And when we had gotten to the show to just park, there was like insanity in the parking lot, and people were like driving up on the dirt ridges, and they're up on sidewalks, and they're illegally parked. I mean, it was just insanity in the parking lot. So they opened up this other lot that was like way in the back. Like, oh, perfect. So, find parking, run up, everything's fine. So, going back to the car, and, got to the car running, getting the exercise at like 11 at night, and get in the car, about to go out, and then there's just like a line of cars. And I'm like, oh man, people beat us to it. But anyway, so kind of get in the line. We're not too far away from the exit, and we just don't move. And I'll need to pull up my video so I can show you what I posted in my story. But anyway, so we're just sitting there and we're not moving. And then we're not moving for 10 minutes. And then it's 15 minutes. And then it's 20 minutes. It's literally 1 hour later. And at this point, of course, all the, getting ahead of the traffic. No, everyone is coming out now. And so now all the cars that are lined up on either side, everyone's in the vehicle, and now everyone's trying to creep in. No one's moving. So it's like the most intense standoff that is happening in slow motion over the course of an hour. Because like these two girls, they get into, their black car right here, and there's like, an inch of space between my vehicle and the vehicle in front of me, and they just start nudging in. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? And I'm like, we're literally gonna like see people getting into fistfights in the parking lot, and I'm not even sure over what, because we're not actually moving. We're not going anywhere. So anyway, we were sitting there. Oh, here we go. So in any case, here, go back. Yeah. So anyway, and actually pause it. Wait. You're too far in the story. You're giving away too much. Let me take this off. So before we get to this moment, uh, one of the vehicles in front of us kind of pulled out. Right, there was like an opening in where the people had been leaving. So they like pull out pretty aggressively, like something's happening, something's exciting going on. And so at this point, we see that they had found, yeah, so basically it was like crazy in the parking lot, and there was this little space in the very back of the lot, and there was like poles and all this stuff sticking out of the ground, so it was very, very small to get out. But one car got out, and they had someone kind of directing them, so you better believe all the cars now, everyone's trying to get through. And so we had like a split second to make the decision. We're like, do we want to do this? Do we think this is gonna work? It was quite the adventure. So anyway, go to the next one. So we're like, yes, let's do it. So this was our view. I was like laying out of the car. So you see at the very back there is a gate, but the gate is locked. Okay, so it'd be good to have cutters at that point. So the gate's locked. No one's getting out. And so you can see everyone starting to like divert. All right, keep going. So everyone's kind of starting to divert because you see someone else got out. So I'll do a close up of what this little area was. And so you see like this truck. It's kind of, yeah, there you go. Keep playing. All right, so there's this little area, and people were just like, F this. So we had made this, the split second decision. So we were like now trying to get out this way. And as we were waiting, and everyone was kind of going one car at a time, because it was actually pretty dangerous. It was like a slippery dirt hill. And then this chick was trying to get out, and her car got stuck, right? So she was just, revving it, and the wheels going, and she's getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the dirt. And we were now at this point like 3 cars away. So we were so close to victory and freedom from like this just really crazy situation where we literally, no one was moving. Okay. And so anyway, we're like, oh my gosh, no, so finally, like, I'm getting out of the car, and I'm like trying to figure out solutions, and trying to open up the side gate. Nothing's working. So anyway, she was able to finally get out with some assistance from other people. And so we like kept clearing the dirt. And so like I'm kicking dirt all over the place, trying to like flatten stuff out so people can go, they can go. And then that Orko was with me. And so like my shoes are covered in dirt at this point, but it's his turn, and he punches it. He gets up, no problem, and we were free. So anyway, it ended up being like this big adventure, sort of. It felt like it, and it was amazing to get out of that lot. I can't even tell you because it was literally going to be like hours. So, in any case, that was all the things. So I'll tell you what. Let me go back really fast. Sorry, I'm ignoring you in the chat. First time here, love it. Thanks for being here, Keith. Sending you positive vibes. We do this live so that we can answer questions. So if you guys have questions, leave them in the chat. Eric says he was stuck in a parking garage for hours after a concert. Yeah, and a part of me was just like, never again. Never again. This is just not worth it. Anyway, so yes, it was quite the time. Hey, I like this. Cool. I got all the new friends on the live. Good question. Now, obviously my complaint was that, why was there only one entrance? Because obviously, you could see on the road outside of the parking lot, people were going. I mean, there's obviously tens of thousands of people trying to leave, but people were moving. And so I think the issue is that everyone was being very aggressive in trying to get out. And so people weren't able to get out of the parking lot very quickly. And so that meant all the rest of us who were like in the back, there was just no hope because there was just one exit. So really, again, having, what do you call them? Not box cutters. What is it? The heavy duty gate cutters. Anyway, I'm like, I really need to just have those in my car from now on. Bolt cutters. Yeah, so definitely an organization issue. And for this particular venue, I'm like, I don't know if I ever want to go back to this venue again. But like I said, it turned into an adventure. And I'll tell you one other thing. It reminded me because, I'm all getting out and making decisions and like, just having kind of fun in the moment. But it made me think of this time I used to work at a movie theater. And so when I was like 16 or something, it was, during a summer preview and there's like monsoon season. And so the entire theater went out. And at the time I was like a team leader or something. And so I went into one of the largest theaters and it's pitch black. So like even the emergency lights aren't on. It's just like the little floor lights. So obviously we need to get everyone just to stay. All right. So like people don't panic. And so just like in that moment, I remember I went into the theater. I'm like, no one panic. It's going to be fine. My name, and I'm like talking them through it. And then, I was just trying to come up with something to keep everyone just like entertained and engaged. And so I started, singing songs and I got like the whole theater to sing along. And so it ended up being kind of a cool moment for like all the other team leaders that were in the other theaters and we're all singing super loudly. So it was just fun. You gotta just go with the flow. Things happen. All right. In any case, why don't we get to some exciting learning? So we'll bring that Orko in after this. I think I want to just go through one of these by myself first. All right, so I want to talk to you guys about the 5 essential things to know about copyright for artists and producers. We're going to hold on a second because my producer just told me I need to. So we're just gonna hang out. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, we're gonna start over on the segment. Let me get a sippy. Let me make sure that this is the best copyright 5 essential things that you have ever heard. Excuse me. All right, here we go. As an entertainment attorney of 9 years, I do a lot of copyright law. I litigate, I register, I do all the things. So copyright questions are super common, and I thought I would cover the 5 most essential things that music producers and artists need to know. So you can just rest assured on what you need to do. All right. So let's start with number 5. We'll go in reverse order, right? So from least to most important, 5 just being the basics of what's copyright. You need to know this. All right. So copyright is the legal protection that's granted when you make a thing, right? When you make a creative thing, you put pen to paper, you record a voice memo, you record a song, you record a video. Anytime you create and put a creative into a tangible medium, you have automatic copyright pursuant to the US Copyright Act. That's great. Okay. But there's more to it. So you get exclusive rights with your copyright protection. So that's going to be rights to reproduce, right? To make copies of, to distribute, right? To put it on music platforms, to sell it, to make CDs. But then also to make what are called derivative works. So to make additional things from the thing you made. So for example, remixes, you still have copyright in those new versions because they were based on your copyrighted song. So number 5, what's copyright? It's just the thing that you made that you put into a tangible form. Now, number 4, we're going to talk about, well, what is copyright not? And I say it that way because a lot of people confuse trademark with copyright. They are not the same thing. So I'm going to give you a little clarification. So when we talk about copyright, copyright is, of course, just a form of intellectual property. So is trademark. The copyright is the thing that protects the stuff that you make, right? Books, movies, songs. And then you can, again, as we just discussed, you have the exclusive rights to reproduce, to make copies, to make money. No one else can make money from your stuff, right? You get that Smeagol syndrome. It's your thing. So, and then on the flip side, the trademark protects the logo. Okay, it's the logo, it's the name, it's the brand. And the reason why we have a separate area of law to protect this stuff is because this is, the valuable thing that makes the goods that you sell, like music, like your merchandise, and your services, right, as a music producer, as a singer. It's what makes it valuable, right? So if it's Michael Jackson on a song versus someone who we don't really know, there's going to be a different value based on just the name. So that's why we have to distinguish. There is a difference between copyright, trademark. Trademark identifies the source of the service or the good. All right. So number 4 in copyright is not trademark. Trademark goes to brand identity and making sure that other people don't use that name, that logo, right? Because they would dilute it. All right. So number 3, when it comes to the most essential things that you need to know about copyright as an artist, as a producer, you need to know why you need to register copyright. Because we just went through it and you're like, well, Krystle, you said I have automatic copyright as soon as I make the song. That's true, but you still need to copyright your creative work with the US Copyright Office, and here's why. When you copyright, A, you get a piece of paper that officially says you made it, you own it. And you need that piece of paper because next it's going to allow you to go to court. So if, John comes along and steals your song, samples your song without your authorization, then you can sue him. And before you can sue him, the court's going to say, well, we need to see proof that you own the song. That proof is the copyright certificate. It's also going to give you additional remedies. Okay, so when you sue, you can ask for what are called statutory damages. So you get extra money, which is really important. Okay, so you want to make sure you actually copyright your stuff. But then also, this is more of a nuanced one. It gives you global protection. Okay, so under the Berne Convention, it basically is an agreement between the US Copyright Office and a bunch of other countries that signed on. And so as a copyright owner, it allows you to go and enforce that copyright in other countries that have signed on to that Berne Convention. So there's all these great things that come from actually filing. And the good news is that it's really not that expensive. I think it's like $50 to file a copyright. Actually, it went up a little bit. I think it's 65 now. So the point just being, and you're not just filing one song at a time. You can copyright your entire album as one filing. So please make sure you're doing this as part of your process as soon as you are making the work and at, the very latest when you release it. All right. Number 2, when it comes to the most essential things that you need to know about copyright, let's talk about collaborations. When you collaborate with someone else and you both are like in the studio and you're, throwing down ideas for beats and chords and melodies, you both have copyright claims in the music, right? Because remember the basic one we just went over. You need, or as soon as you make it, you own it. So the two people, you and your collaborator, both have copyright ownership in the music. And under copyright law, even if you talk about it and you both agree, hey, I'm one of the Collaborators is assigning ownership to the other. Even if you say it verbally, it's not enforceable under the law unless you put it in assigned writing. So since that's the case, that's why you got to do contracts with your collaborators, and it's just a collaboration agreement. It's nothing too crazy, but you absolutely need to make sure you have a contract. Which then brings me to the number one most essential thing that you need to know when it comes to copyright and being an artist and music producer. Before I get to that, make sure you like this video if you are finding it helpful. I release videos every single week to help you with your music career. So number one, sampling. So when it comes to sampling, we're talking about taking something from someone else's song. All right, so you're like, oh my gosh, I really loved this particular vocal and I want to sample it. We hear this in, Kanye's music all the time. He loves to sample. And so in order to do that, you have to get a license or you have to buy it. There's a number of steps you have to go through in order to sample legally, because if you don't, guess what? You stole it, right? Or they have a claim that you stole it. It's copyright infringement. And then remember, going back, you get to, the other person's going to go to court, sue you. They're going to ask for damages, and they're going to likely be able to get more than their actual base damages if they had the copyright registration timely and they did all the things. Okay. So when it comes to sampling, which is actually very common, if you are going to sample without getting proper licenses, sample at your own risk. But I do have videos on this channel talking about how to legally protect yourself when it comes to doing cover songs and sampling. I got you covered. So the walk away gavel moment is protect yourself. Make sure that you actually copyright your music with the US Copyright Office, and you will thank yourself later for doing that. My thing's like okay, we're gonna move this. Here we go. I'm like gaveling out of frame. I gotta gavel to you guys so you get the motion. You know what I'm saying? At least I remember to gavel, sort of. So anyway, I hope you guys found that helpful so you can all stay protected. All right, so let me go back to the comments. Oh, Ashley, thank you. Ashley was trying to help me out. She's like, don't forget. All right, we have a question. Ant-Man Felix says, hello there. Miss Krystle, could you discuss how song secure and copywriting music is or is not the same? Song secure. I have not heard that one before. Let's look it up really fast while we're chatting. Song secure music registration. I see a website. Okay. It's funny. Someone was soliciting me one time and they thought I was just an artist. And so they're like, we can copyright your stuff. And I kind of went through their funnel because they go, pay us like $5 and we will copyright your music. And what they were actually doing was not copyright. It wasn't a copyright registration. So it was a lie. And I was just kind of curious. I'm like, are they knowingly lying to people and be like, we're going to register your music? And so I kind of went through the process. And then when I kind of told the person, I was like, hey, just so you know, this isn't actually copyright. I'm actually an attorney. I mean, he just stopped talking to me. So yikes. Anyway, song secure. I'm looking right now. How it works. Here, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm looking at so we can all kind of just learn together, and we'll see if this is legit. We're investigating. Where's my screen? Where's my screen? Let me go over here. I'm gonna show you guys too much. All right, here we go. So here is Song Secure. They say upload your song or song idea, add your ownership details, receive verification within just minutes. Interesting. Within minutes, your song is secured to blockchain using our proprietary technology, providing permanent protection for your copyrighted material. Oh, for download your Song Secure certificate. That's it. Your Song Secure certificate and your music file are stored in the cloud, available for download anytime. All right, so my first thought is yikes. So what it's showing is that you get a certificate of ownership from Song Secure. So this is, this kind of looks like a little bit of what I just described in my other situation. So what they're saying is not that they're going to register your music for copyright ownership, because in order to do that, you have to go to copyright, oops, copyright.gov. So if you're going to actually register your copyright in the United States, you have to go to this website. Okay, so you go through this website and then you just answer some questions. So what their advertising looks like, they're providing a service to register, but they're not actually registering the copyright. What it says is that they're going to put you in their system and they're going to generate this little certificate of ownership from Song Secure. So, on a very, very kind of cursory review of this, this is my concern. These companies that are like, hey, I'm going to register your music. Well, what they're doing is that they're just adding your song and information into their system. Basically, if I'm like, hey, here's my Dropbox link, why don't you add your stuff into it? And then I just generate a Word document that says, certificate of ownership. So just so you know, this is not an actual certificate that you could use to then go and do all the things that we talk about, which is you need a copyright registration to go to court. You need a copyright registration to enforce your rights, to show your actual ownership. So going to a website like this and having them generate this for you is going to do nothing for your actual copyrights. And this is a little concerning because they're, kind of all of the branding here makes you think that you are getting an actual copyright registration. So this doesn't make me feel real good. And look at this. They even have an interview with an actual attorney. I don't know if I have my audio on. I want you guys to hear what this is. So I'm going to make sure that the audio is on. We're going to watch this together. So when we are considering whether services that you're going to, pay for are legit or not, we're going to listen to what they have to say and investigate. So here we go.
My name is Mark Barrier. I'm a patent attorney. I originally went to Texas A&M University. I got my undergraduate degree there in physics. Worked for several years in the defense industry with Texas Instruments.
All right, so they're just, setting he's a legit attorney.
Went to law school at the University of Texas in Austin. Graduated from UT and worked in a law firm in Houston for several years. And went back and got a master's degree in electrical engineering at Rice University. When I completed that, I moved to Austin and have been practicing in Austin as a patent attorney since that time. So what I found interesting about Song Secure is that it's a quick and convenient way to have verifiable evidence that you did have a song. So, for example, if you create a song, instead of going through the, again, sometimes cumbersome process of registering your copyright with the Copyright Office, which...
Whoa! Whoa! Having verifiable evidence and not having the burden of going through the Copyright Office? All right, so it sounds like what they're saying is that they're like, hey, this is the poor man's copyright. P.S., guys, poor man's copyright does shit to protect you. If you put your album in the mail, as far as using it as a way to show, hey, I made the thing on this particular date, it doesn't actually do anything. The way that copyright law in the United States works is that you have to actually get a copyright registration. Again, you need the piece of paper from the U.S. Copyright Office, the Library of Congress, to show evidence of your ownership if you're going to enforce it in a court of law. So if you want to do any of those things, you need to go through the cumbersome effort of doing that. But we're only a minute into this. Let's see what else he's saying.
It may take you 4, 5, 6 months before you receive your certificate showing the registration, and in the meantime, you're not really sure if you're fully protected. You may get back a letter from the Copyright Office saying that they refuse to register it.
Whoa! All right, so I've done like thousands of registrations. If there's a problem with your application, they actually email you. And they're like, hey, P.S., you didn't do this thing. You need to correct it. Like there are reasons and basis that you may receive a rejection. It's incredibly rare because, for example, there's like a million songs out there that are like, I love you. You know what I'm saying? And so what the US Copyright Office is a glorified file keeping system. So they're not sitting there like examining your application like, you know what? I don't think Jane really put in effort and did the lyrics on this song. Denied. That's not how this works. You're filing to just have a record, right? Instead of mailing yourself your album to confirm that you are the owner and when you made it and all the things. You just file with the Copyright Office and you register all the information. So I disagree.
You get some certainty from using Song Secure and being able to immediately or almost immediately submit your song, have it recorded, get your verifiable evidence back, and you have the confidence of having done that and having obtained some proof that you could use later on if you need to enforce your copyrights.
Wow. See, that's pretty scary, guys. And I say this and I'm like, just because someone's saying they're an attorney doesn't mean they are, but let's pretend for a second he is actually an attorney. He doesn't understand copyright law. Okay, so it's and I've seen this before. You have people who just say stuff, because they're paid to say it, or they just misunderstand it in general. But what he's saying again, like, if I set up some fictitious website and I'm like, superawesomeCopyrights.com, and I'm like, if you just submit your song through my website, I'll generate a certificate, a Word document that I turn into a PDF. I'll generate a certificate that says you're the owner of the song. Like, okay, what I'm telling you as someone who has done this for 9 years is you need an actual copyright certificate from the United States Library of Congress, right? So the Copyright Office, in which you get very simply just by filing through their electronic system. And you give them the song, you give them the information, they spit out a piece of paper back to you in like 3 to 4 months. And you do that as part of your process of just being an artist and creating works to protect yourself. So this is incredibly concerning. So back to the original question. Interesting. So I just decided to kind of look into this on the fly. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Those are my thoughts on Song Secure. All right, guys, we just went a little off track. Sorry, I forgot the gavel. Those are my thoughts on Song Secure. Those are my thoughts on Song Secure. There we go. All right, anyway, guys, yeah, we got a little off track there. I don't know, I get a little heated when someone is promoting something that is going to kind of screw people over. And the reason, why, I guess this is my PSS on this whole thing, but the reason why this is so concerning is because if you don't actually get your copyright timely, it affects your statutory damages. So when someone contacts my office, okay, and they forgot to get the registration, but they actually own the song, there's no question about it. And I've had this happen. And they're like, hey, my buddy in the band, right, I own the music, we agreed it, we have it in writing, and the buddy in the band went and distributed the music without my authorization. And he made all this money, and I didn't know about it. And now I want to sue him for copyright infringement. So guess what? Because of the timing on this, if he didn't get that registration within a certain amount of time of releasing the song or discovering the infringement, he might not be able to seek statutory damages. And that's a huge gap in earning. So, the base damages, right? This guy went and basically made $5,000, right? Versus statutory damages for willful infringement. You can get up to $150,000 per infringement. So it's a huge deal. So if someone goes to a website like this and they're like, oh, I just need to pay them however much it is. I'm going to look this up in a second. I just need to pay them. And then, it's evidence of my ownership. So they didn't actually get the proper copyright certificate. So guess what? They only get to go after the $5,000 now. And they don't get to go after the $150,000. So yikes. Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's like pricing anywhere on this. Let's go back. Sign up now with unlimited songs, only $9.95 a month. So you can get screwed for $9.95 a month. right, let me go back to the question. What do we got? What do we got popping in the chat? What is industry standard percentage for a manager and an agent? If they are the same person, they collect on both. So, industry standard for a manager is 10 to 15%. It's going to be on the lower end if it's a newer manager. Oh, I'm sorry, no. That's for an agent. So if it's a manager, it's 15 to 20. Okay, so for a newer manager, it's going to be 15%. For a more experienced manager, it's 20%. For an agent, it's 10 to 15. So same thing. Sorry, I'm all sidetracked. I'm still thinking about Song Secure. I don't like it. I got a little heated. That bothers me. Yeah, gavel. Yeah, we don't have great gavel emojis. Eric's got the gavel emoji. And then the second part, as far as, can they collect on both if it's the same person? Yes, technically, but for example, in California, it is against the law to be both the agent and the manager. And the reason why is because agents are acting in a fiduciary capacity, so meaning they're, handling money. And so when you have someone who's handling money, it's going to be a conflict of interest. You can't have both the manager as well as the agent doing the same thing. So it really depends on where you live. So, for example, in another state, you might not have that restriction, so you can do both. But, it's better usually to have those jobs for two different people. But when it's you and you're your own boss and, you're running your career as you should, you can be your own manager and agent, right? Keith, what about the poor man's copyright? Yeah, so I covered this a little earlier, but just in regards to poor man's copyright, it's just a myth. It doesn't do anything if you mail yourself or just do, go to Song Secure and you get evidence of your ownership. It doesn't actually do anything because remember, the beauty about copyright is that you have it as soon as you make the song. And so when it comes to proving it, you have your song sessions. We will literally pull up song sessions and we'll take screenshots showing when it was made, who it was made by, right? But you do have copyright as soon as you make the creative thing. But then the next step is you have to actually register. Get the copyright registration from the US Copyright Office. Judges and top music attorney has the hammer. We'll just start calling it the hammer. Essentially, it just creates a timestamp. Yep, you got it. Yeah, we had some fun with that one. Alan says, we are investigators now. Yes, we are. I like it, guys. Give me more stuff. Let me know more things that are happening that I can just investigate. We'll call it the investigating segment. I just want to send this to somebody so that they can know it's not actually copywriting. Yeah, and I'll be sure to ask my editor to cut that out, and so I'll release it as a separate segment on this channel because this may actually even be the company that I had run across or the same owner because they'll just set up, a bunch of different dummy companies and do the same thing. And I don't know if they know that they're scamming people or misdirecting people or misinforming people. But people are misinformed, and this is scary. You definitely have to be careful. All right, for those of you who are filing in, we are finding all the scammers of the planet. Canada, hey, let me know where you guys are checking in from. What time is it? Did I even do my segment? I did, right? Bands breakup, says Keith. Play your songs, copyright first. Yes. What's up, Zach? Thank you for being here. All right, cool. Let's bring in that Orko. Let's see what's going on.
Hey, shout out to the community. I love that segment. That was like awesome. Just a spontaneous moment. So yeah, if there's more companies that you guys are, interested in as far as, dealing with as an independent artist or producer, let us know. We'll take a look, right? But
right.
Wherever you are watching from, remember, we are broadcasting to Facebook and LinkedIn, YouTube, and somewhere else. But join us over here on the Top Music Attorney YouTube page. That's where we want you to come. That's where these videos will be released. We'll do an edited version of that last segment that you just saw that was spontaneous. That will be released on the Top Music Attorney YouTube. So make sure that you're tapped in and that you're joining everywhere over on across all social medias for Top Music Attorney. So much good information is being released all the time.
That's right. So Keith says, what about bootleg dance songs? If I made it to use in a performance, am I covered by general license for playback like mashups? Okay, so there's a lot there. Later in the show, we're gonna go over basically, why bars and specifically, certain bars we'll talk about bars, live venues, they're getting sued for just playing music, but this goes to just, if you're releasing dance bootleg songs and mixtapes and all the things, right? So when you sample, you do it at your own risk, okay?
Right.
Because the state of the law is that you have to get proper licensing from the people and companies that own the songs if you're going to sample them, if you're going to mix them, if you're going to do all the things. So right now, it's just very culturally on point and just what everyone does as far as just stealing and sampling. And it's so widespread that enforcement is difficult for record labels, but they absolutely are going to do it. So they're just going to pick you out of, a lineup and they will enforce. So you just have to be careful with any of that, especially with mashups.
For sure. And it's like we've seen that happen. And it's like just because you got away with it this year and next year. I mean, I think we saw like Nicki Minaj. I think it was Nicki Minaj that had like a mixtape that had some stuff that people are going after mixtapes that released like 10 years ago. So just don't think just because it hasn't, you got away with it for a little bit. And it sucks because if you have a song that blows up, because you're not doing anything for it not to blow up, let's say you start earning money from that song and you've been collecting for a couple of years and then you're going to get sued. Well, like maybe you spent that money already. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Just be careful with that stuff and just get it done right. Get an attorney.
Yeah, so Ashley said she got her certificate back in like a month. I love that. So the copyright office was taking like 9 months for years. It was so slow and yeah, I mean I just did I just did about 75, I think, copyright applications for the sale of a music catalog and they've been coming back a couple of months in between. So they're moving pretty quick over there.
Yeah. And just do it right.
Yeah. All right, sorry, I got really behind on your guys' comments. Dang. Spark one, Dukes up. Hey. Yeah, you gotta know your stuff, and you gotta just kind of be on, always learning new stuff. You have to be creating and doing all the things as an artist, as a producer. But
just read it. Really read what you're looking at. It's tough because we get sold as consumers just like on the easy way out. And as independent artists and producers, especially aren't great at business kind of things and just kind of being responsible. We just want to write songs. We're just looking for the easiest thing. And this guy's like telling you it's easy. He's like, nah, bro, it's legit. Like you'll be good. You'll be good enough. Good enough.
Kevin asked, do you have to copyright every single song on an album? No, you don't. You can do the album. And so just basically the copyright office is okay with you doing a collection of works if it's the same authors, if you released it at the same time. So basically same album, same EP. So that's how you can save some money. But you can also, if you have not published it yet, you can do a group of unpublished works application. And they do have a cap on that. I think it's 10 at a time. But anyway, you don't have to do it one at a time. Okay, so look, we'll come back to the chat. I'm going to make sure I hit all of the comments and get caught up. But let's just go into a segment really fast while I got you here. I was actually thinking that we should have a little chat about, because I was talking about, we went to Janet Jackson last night. And we were talking about, basically why people should go to concerts. So we're gonna go into that.
Let's do it.
All right, so see, you can't say let's do it and then you clear your voice.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. What want me to do?
You let me know. I'm pretty sure
I will give one more sippy.
But you let me know when you're ready.
Come on, guys.
All right. There are 5 crucial reasons why you should be going to live concerts. Okay, so we're going to talk about, you need to take a moment. I need you to put your headphones down. I need you to get out of the studio. I need you to get out of the office. And we're going to get you to go to, a festival or a live show. And here are the 5 reasons, all right? So 1, and this is definitely the case for me. I know it's the case for that Orko as well. But it's really going to ignite your creativity because A, you're getting into a new space,
Yeah.
a new environment,
Yeah.
but you're just going to see all the things of why are you doing this? And someone that I'm mentoring, he went to like an EDM festival for a couple of days and he came back, and this is totally what he was talking about. He's like, it just really helped me to remember I'm trying to be on that stage, right? I'm trying to be doing this. And so it just gave me a beat to just get away, reset, and just to get inspired.
Absolutely. Like it's when you see, an act that, is doing something kind of different, even just like with their lighting and their colors and stuff, like just the way that vibes will kind of hit you in concerts and stuff. Could inspire whole creativity just to get what you want to get into the studio. I know after we went to, Janet Jackson last night, I was just totally just inspired. I was like, I just wanted to get into the studio and start writing music. It was just such an incredible experience, especially when you're going to shows that just have so much vibe to them that you just, are really releasing.
Yeah, so then the second most crucial, reason why you got to get out, you got to go to these live shows is going to be just fan observation. So one of the
Yes.
festivals
Yeah.
that we went to recently was, more towards like, goth kids and rock kids and a lot of the types of audiences that I basically want listening to my music as a dark pop artist. And so for me, it was really cool to just observe, what are the fans of these bands? What do they dress like? What do they
Yeah.
act like? What are they doing in between sets? And really just kind of like paying attention because I go, these are the fans that I'm basically putting my music out for.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting too. You're talking about we went to the Sick New World Festival in Vegas, and I mean, you had a bunch of industrial bands and you had rock bands, and it was really interesting to see which fans of which bands were watching which other bands that may not have been in the same genre and stuff. And so that can help you. Like if you are, let's say, if you're a rock band and you wanted to kind of add some industrial flair or some electronics to your music or something like that, maybe you observed at the festival that the same kids that were watching the Deftones we're also watching KMFDM. We're also, or watching like Death Grips or just one of these other groups. So go, well, these kids seem to be into both of these kind of bands, and you just kind of observe the crowds. I think it's very important in giving you confidence to branch out into new styles, trying new things, and again, just getting to know your audience.
100%. Yeah. So John's going to go see his favorite band, Depeche Mode, in
Yeah.
November. Amazing. I love that.
Yes.
So here's another one, right? So if you are going to go to, especially like in your hometown, in your state, it's a great networking opportunity. And this is actually how that Orko and
Yeah.
I met. We were just going to a lot of different live shows and we just kind of kept running into each other. And then that led to a conversation. And then what do you do? And hey, let's work together. So definitely really good for networking.
Absolutely. This is actually kind of key to everything that you do in your networking, especially if you're kind of getting started. It's a fun way to do it. Especially when you go to like local shows and national shows. But if you're just doing things within your genre, you're going to run into other artists that are around town. Everybody in the scene usually kind of shows up at the same kind of places. You're going to keep running into people, you talk, you have good hangs, but most importantly, you're networking. And that doesn't mean you're just trying to sell them stuff or get them to do things, but you're really developing relationships with these people. So, because it really is all about who you know in the business. I mean, you got to have talent, of course, but I mean, it doesn't do any good if nobody can hear it or if you can't get it to the right people. And exactly, I wouldn't even be working with Krystle if we didn't keep bumping into each other at concerts. That's literally it. Like 4 or 5 times, just keep bumping into each other and talking, and it's just like, oh hey, do you want to work together on something? So
All right. So then the fourth reason when it comes to it's crucial, you got to get out to shows, you know, spread the gospel of what you're doing, right?
yeah,
Promotion. So when you're there, and if you happen to be around the target audience that you're after, hopefully you have some business cards with you, right? I
yeah,
don't even do business cards. I do like 3x5, kind of what would you call them? Like poster cards.
yeah, we have
But
those.
yeah, and so like on the front side, it might be just a little, once over your name, your picture, make sure you have like your social media. And then on the back of it, I was wondering if I even have one handy, but on the back of it, you just have like a collage of like maybe some of your social media and showing what do you show on your social media. Try to get people to go over and follow you. So just having something that you can hand out while you're at these events, you can literally go and just make fans of like 30, 50 people, if you're just handing them out and you have something pretty cool.
And pro tip on that, you can also just utilize QR codes. So this is kind of something that I've been doing. So you can also just get like a business card. You just have the QR code on your phone, and you, as soon as you're talking to people, you're like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, like connect with me here, and like have them scan the QR code and just have them follow. Which, and the QR code will link to like your link tree, which has your social media accounts and everything there, and kind of get them to follow you right there. Don't just hand them a card. Make meaningful interactions with people, especially if like you see somebody that's wearing like a band shirt. If you're at a concert that that's like kind of like unknown, like it's not just like, like if you're at a corn concert and you're seeing a million people with corn shirts, that's cool. But if you see somebody that has something more niche to what you're doing,
Right.
really shout them out. People that take pride in the stuff that the stuff that they wear and stuff, so they appreciate that. So start conversations, especially if they fall in your niche, and try QR codes and have them go right there, have them follow you right in front of you.
Yeah. And then, as an artist, a music producer, anyone, you're stepping away from the studio for a second. And I would say the fifth reason to get out, go to a concert, mental health, right? You need to actually go have
Yes,
fun and like remember what it's like to be an artist, to be a producer, right? Because so much of what we do is so isolating.
it is. It
Just as
is.
people, but particularly as creators, because you got to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? If you do happen to be having a day job, maybe you have a family. I mean, we're all just so busy. And so we're like in rooms all day long and we're not really interacting with a lot of people. So taking a beat to go and let loose, have fun, that's always going to be great for your mental health.
And remembering what it's like to be a fan, you know what I mean, like to have that same experience, so what you want to instill in your fans, you know what I mean. So especially if you are your favorite band's coming to town, maybe spend that extra couple dollars and get a little bit closer, you know what I mean, like treat yourself, enjoy yourself. Like the way that you want fans to appreciate your music is kind of give that to the people that you appreciate.
Yeah. So find people you connect with, network,
Mm,
hand out your stuff, get new fans, find inspiration, and just get a deeper like meaning for what you're doing. So go to concerts. Those are my 5 reasons.
love it.
Thank you guys for watching. All right, look at that. You guys got a third gavel. John, that's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on tour and I'm going to get you guys just to come to all my concerts. Really, the whole tip was a lead up for my tour announcement. coming to a city near you very soon. JM had a question. Just curious, what video software switcher do you use for comments? Yeah, so we're using Restream. Yeah. Okay, so I had teased that we're going to talk about basically if you play a hit song in your in your gym, in your restaurant, in any, business that you own, you're going to get your pants sewed off. Well, this happened, and we're going to talk about why it happened, and this is pretty interesting. So let's go over to this.
I'm ready to go.
So you did your big
I know
throat clear
I've been doing pretty good because
before.
I've been going like this. I've been going. Oh, see, see, I have my notes up, and so now
There we go. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that, guys. When you reinforce that you like the gavel, it's going to remind me that I should do
right.
the gavel. So I appreciate that. All right, so a beach bar has been sued for copyright infringement because they played a hit song, and now they might have to pay $30,000. So why did this happen? What's going on? Let's jump into it. So Wally's Pub, it's a popular bar and venue in Hampton Beach, and they're fighting a copyright lawsuit that was actually brought by the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, which is ASCAP. All right, so we talk about ASCAP and BMI. They are two of the biggest companies that do public performance royalty collection in the United States. So ASCAP, they're suing now. And I was pretty surprised by this, and I wanted to talk about it because I get the question from time to time from people. They're like, do I really need to get licenses to play music in my venue, in the mall? And, is ASCAP really going to sue me? Is BMI really going to sue me? Well, they really are suing. So as one of the biggest, licensing companies, I guess they had given notice to Wally's Pub. They're alleging, and they're like, hey, your license from, what was it, 2013 lapsed in 2017? Yeah, May of 2017. And so they're like, we called you, we emailed you, we sent you an owl courier, we did all the things, and you still haven't paid. So now they're suing, and the reason why they're saying potentially $30,000 is because
Yikes.
under the Copyright Act, you can get statutory damages,
Hmm.
and in one of the claims, it can be from 750 up to 30,000. So, what do you think?
I think that's something that, we've seen happen when bars have like when they run like sporting events, like UFC fights, they need to get like the licenses and the permissions to do the same thing. And the same thing for venues when they're doing music. I mean, it is a public performance of music, especially when you're dealing with bands and stuff. And one of the songs that's causing a lot of the stir is Bad Company's "Feel Like Making Love," which I can't. If this bar plays this, I can't even imagine how many instances of that song that bar has played, if that's the style of music, because that's a huge song in that genre. So, and then they also did the Bare Naked Ladies' "Old Apartment." And it's just crazy. It's just crazy that these
Well,
people, they should know these things going into it.
Well, and at some point, obviously, they did get a license. So why they allowed it to lapse? And
Right.
the owner is contending, no, we have a proper licensing, and this is just a mistake. Now we'll see how this all kind of pans out. But for ASCAP to really take the step to actually sue, that's a pretty big move. I don't hear too often of ASCAP or BMI suing, but in this case, they did. But also, you have to be aware, like literally singing "Happy Birthday"
Right.
in a
Right.
bar can get the bar into trouble if they
Right.
don't have the proper licensing because it's the public performance of a song in their venue that they authorize. Now I'm like, well, I don't know what you expect them to do. I mean, you're gonna have security like tackle people who are singing "Happy Birthday." Shut up.
Yeah, no, it's got to be pretty hard to actually catch and enforce, and somebody has to be in a really vindictive way, and then somebody else has to be really bothered enough to go do something. I would think, but that's why these things are there. And so when you're dealing with music, you're dealing with a lot of different artists. Like, it's not just one person that you're worried about, you know, something. It's a lot of different artists. So
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
this is not the first time that ASCAP or other organizations like ASCAP have sued, right? So we had Stacey Jane's, a karaoke karaoke bar, and they were forced to pay $17,000 and some change plus the attorney's fees. So it's a pretty big ticket you got to pay.
It says the average cost for bars and restaurants to obtain the license from ASCAP is less than $2 a day, and that allows them to play an unlimited amount of music. So maybe that's why it's the kind of like do something that sets an example, because it's really not that much money of a fee that they have to pay a year to do their unlimited coverage of whatever it is they need to do. That just seems kind of defiant. If they already did it and they didn't, they knew they stopped doing it.
Yeah, I mean at $2 a day.
Bar rescue.
So, yeah, right. Yeah, he never talks about that. $730 for a year. Now, I had a situation where someone owned a fitness
Mhm.
facility and it was for mostly like private stuff, but actually they have different rules depending on what type of venue it is. Are you taking a fee for everyone who's coming into it? So for example, like Pandora
Yeah.
has Pandora for Business.
Right.
So they go,
Right.
"Hey, we're getting the licenses for you. We got you covered, blah blah blah." But you have to read the terms. And so for example, if you are like a fitness place or you take overhead, right? Per person to come in, they're like, our license doesn't cover you. So, someone had actually gotten this license, they thought they were covered, and then they're getting now, as they call it, harassed. I'm getting harassed by BMI, I'm being harassed by ASCAP. But you have to just make sure you actually read the terms of service. So, if you're going through any company, they're like, hey, we're going to solve all your problems. We got your copyright. We got your licensing. We got this and that. Make sure you do your research. That's all I have to say. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Please do your research. So, not a ton popping off in the news this week, huh?
You're like slow news week.
No? No good?
That's what I got for you.
Guys, I'd like to point out that Orko has a new camera. I think he looks quite fabulous.
Yeah, we went ahead and switched it up because we are making more content, so we needed more devices. That's more on investing in yourself, right? We're always got to be investing in ourselves and always trying to push things forward.
That's right. John had a
Oh,
question.
who had a question?
John, I missed it. Sorry. What if a radio was playing in a bar and playing lots of music? What would happen? Is it illegal? I mean, if you're playing someone else's music, you're required to get a license to do that. Now, if you're a private person in your home, you're okay. But
Right.
if you are a business using it
Charging.
for commercial purposes, that's when you get into trouble. So it is a problem because, like in this case, they're suing for copyright infringement on
Mm,
behalf of the people who made the music. That's what they do. And where we get kind of scared is copyright infringement. There can be pretty high statutory damages. So that's why we want to make sure everything is buttoned up.
for sure, for sure.
That's right. Doing research is key.
Michelle.
Something about Slipknot. I don't know what's going on with Slipknot, but
Yeah, Slipknot, their keyboard player left the band or was fired. They made an announcement, and then the next day, like they were just business as usual. And then I believe like the clown isn't playing either because his wife is sick. So he's like taking care of her. And so they're just kind of business as usual. Fans seem to be like kind of upset about the whole thing. Um, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why he left the group. I just know that he did. I didn't get
yeah,
all.
so Slipknot fans got quite surprised on Wednesday afternoon. It was revealed that the band had parted ways with longtime keyboardist Craig Jones. So not much insight. Slipknot's announcing we've parted ways.
Yeah.
So update: Slipknot have since deleted their statement. Oh,
No.
interesting. Huh. I wonder what's going on there.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's always weird when that happens, but I gotta tell you, Slipknot is one of those groups that has just like so many, faceless members, which is kind of like a blessing and a curse. You know what I mean? For bands, I think sometimes. But it's a real tough road for a keyboard player because really all they have to do is put that on tape. Like they're
Hmm.
just kind of paying. I'm not saying he didn't contribute. I'm not like a big Slipknot fan. I've seen him like a few times, but I'm not like a big Slipknot fan. But I do know that just from an economic standpoint for bands. Now I have no idea this is why or anything. I'm speculating, but I'm just telling you that they're going to save a lot of money by just putting his parts on tape, much like a lot of the other stuff. But it's for the show. It's entertaining. So
Well, good. See, that's why we got you guys in the chat, so you can peg us on things. So, all
that's how
right.
it
Well,
works.
with all that being said, guys, I'm gonna kick that Orko out of here so I can do a wrap up. That Orko, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Make sure that you are following on all social media platforms. If you aren't following us on TikTok and Instagram, you need to be following on both places. There's some different content that goes on each one of them, catering to platforms. You can watch videos on how we talk about making content for social media. And then and just know and when I leave, make sure you let them know about the new song that we kind of pre-saved.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the show. So, I teased my new song that is coming out that Orko produced, but we're going to be doing a series of songs, Disney songs, but we've transposed them
Yeah.
into dark pop, into minor keys. And so the first one is from Cinderella. A dream is a wish your heart makes.
Yeah, these are this whole process, this whole little EP that we've been making has been so much fun because again, into investing in yourself and trying new things, we're adding a lot of new orchestral instruments and all kinds of things. So like this is very different, still in the dark pop vein, but it's a really cool reimagining of these songs, and it's just been so much fun. So I can't wait for you guys to hear some of the stuff, but you can sample some of it on her social media on Miss Krystle's page. Go to do that. But I'm out,
Yeah.
guys.
So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, I posted it on just Miss Krystle live on Instagram. So you check that out there or any of the places that you follow. Yeah, dark pop all day. So I'm pretty excited. It's sounding really cool, and we're working on the other ones right now. We haven't announced which songs yet, but for the first one, you can go pre-save, and then if you pre-save, especially on Spotify, it has you, or the option to add your email if you want, so you can get on my email list. I'll let you know, because I'm going to do some pre-release stuff. We'll have a music video, and so for those of you who are on my list, I'll let you see some stuff early. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so, around that time, we'll be doing other things. I'll have some special, like, merch drops, some special posters. I always like to treat y'all real good. Yeah, you got it. Awesome. Okay, so on the quick wrap up, obviously we will be yeah, right. We'll be back next week, same time, every Thursday at 5 p.m. PST. And we do this live, and if you guys need help, if you are an artist, a musician, a producer, and you're looking for more one-on-one working with me, you can always just DM me on Top Music Attorney. Let me know what you're doing, and I'll see how I can help. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much for being here, following all the socials, do all the things. And then also, we've been pushing out just the segments for music business, because I know sometimes we talk about entertainment news, but the actual podcast that you can listen to on Spotify and other platforms is just strictly music business education. So it's like the perfect platform if you're like driving or cleaning the house. So just to kind of get your reps in on understanding the music business. So be sure to check that out. Okay, let me make sure. I'm gonna go back to the chat one more time before we'll run a video. We always like to run a video at the end. But Kevin, curious about what goes into contract when an artist performs at a festival. What would a festival offer an artist? Yeah, so it's funny. I've done festivals where I represent the venue, right? Like the festival owners and producers. But then also, on the artist side. So it can be a number of things, but it's just like any other show, right? So, on the artist side, we'll provide a writer. And so it's going to be, here's all the stuff that we want, but really it's just performance agreements. And so it's going to be, when do you perform? What are we paying you? What happens if you cancel? What happens if it rains? So it's like any other performance agreement. And typically the festivals are going to be a little better about them and just making sure that they're protected because they're making a big investment. We'll do blinding lights. I think it's been a minute since we did that. Keith says, I didn't think we called them music videos anymore. I thought they're called visualizers now. I usually reference something that isn't quite at the production or creative level of a music video. I would call something a visualizer when it's meant more to be like a lyric video or something that is less than a music video, but obviously that's a sliding scale. I mean, there was I forget the artist's name, but his music video was him standing in the middle of a room and he had fans, not like his human fans, but like literally fans that blow air all around him. And I think, what was the name of the song? I am a fan. I forget, but in any case, so
Tizo touchdown. I am a fan.
Okay, yeah, thank you. But anyway, I would consider that a music video. Very simple. So a video, not a visualizer. All right, guys, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. We're going to run Blinding Lights. So this was a cover song that I did, right, the weekend. And this one did pretty good. We got a couple 100,000 views on it on my Miss Krystle YouTube channel. And so cover songs are definitely helpful for kind of getting the word out about you, because it just offers a song that people already like. And then it gives them a chance to, see you for the first time, hear your voice. So we're going to do it. I'll be in the chat. Love your faces. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. I look around and Sin City's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. running out of time, 'cause I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road in overdrive, baby. Sin City's cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the light. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. And I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. I'm just going back to let you know I can never say it on the phone. They'll never let you go this time. I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the light. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. Hey, hey, and I said, ooh, I'm blinded by